Hola, coming to you last time from Costa Rica. Thought I'd recap mostly how the vacation went. So it was good. It was wet, very humid. There's a lot of rain unexpectedly. Most of the Ticos said this is very uncommon for this time of year to have this much rain. So we lucked out there. But it was still a good vacation. You know, the beaches are different here. We're staying at Playa Conchao, which is Spanish for beaches of shell. Playa Conchao, which is short for beaches of shell, which they are different. It's not the nice powdery sand beaches or whatever. But we did get across while we were snorkeling to go to a beach called Honeymoon Beach, and it was half volcanic sand, half normal sand, so that was nice. So the Westin overall has been super nice. The restaurants, the food, we had high expectations coming from the Dominican last year. This year, even at the Westin and Playa Conchao was phenomenal. All the food was great. They tried to mix in some local fare, which I appreciated, and it wasn't too outrageous that, our kids turned their nose up at it, picky as they are. They still eat steak most of the nights, but we forced them to try new things, at least once a day, so that was good. The wildlife here is spectacular. I mean, it's seriously like in the jungle, even though we're kind of on the beach. It's just, there's iguanas everywhere, and coati, and all kinds of stuff. Birds. Like every time you turn around, there's a different bird. It's crazy. I think our guide, Marvin, was telling us yesterday that Costa Rica, even though it's a very small country, has 6% of the biodiversity in the world, which is as much as Mexico, Canada, and the United States put together. So that's pretty impressive, and it shows when you walk around and see all kinds of things. So when I saw the howler monkeys and the white-faced monkeys, I didn't see spider monkeys. And I think there's another kind of monkey that's in Costa Rica, but not on this side of Costa Rica. So everybody's super friendly, like they said. Pura Vida is the pure life. And they use the saying, he said like 300 times a day, which I thought he was joking, but he was dead serious. Hello, goodbye, you're welcome. If anything is good, Pura Vida is appropriate response. It's pretty cool. But so another nice thing about the Westin, there's transportation everywhere you need to go. Little golf cart shuttles, they'll take you around if it's raining or you don't want to walk too far, if you're dressed up for dinner or whatever. All kinds of different dinner cuisines. There's French, we had one night. There's an Asian that was phenomenal. They have some Costa Rican specific food. They have an international restaurant. I'm forgetting what else they had, but it's really impressive. So you can see it on their website. So I think if we were to do this trip again, we'd probably do more of the eco-tourist thing. The Westin's super nice resort. It's getting cloudier, so we're losing light. Super nice resort, but I think the ecotourism might be a little cooler. And there's a wide range of ecotourist hotels that can be either super nice or more bare bones or whatever you want to call it. So I think that'd be more interesting next time. Kind of get away from the touristy feel of the Westin, which is nice, but and do something a little bit more authentic, I think. So one of the spots we went to where I did the water slide and all that stuff, there's actually a hotel there that's more ecotourism centered, so I think that might be kind of cool. The downside, I think, to this trip, the big one, is that it's just been so wet. It's just pervasive humidity. It's just a little different. Kansas City, we talk about how humid it can get, and lots of parts of the United States are humid and awful during the summer. We're no exception to the rule. But down here, it's next level. So it's different. Like, it feels nice to get in air conditioning and let your skin dry off just a little bit. Granted, I think they've had exceptionally high rains for this time of year, so that's probably added to some of the problems. But other than that, other than the weather and the stickiness, I guess, and it hasn't been that bad. It's just not used to, like, if I came here in August and it was like that and I was used to Kansas City humidity, it'd probably be different. Probably be a little more adapted to it, I guess. So overall, fantastic vacation. I highly recommend Costa Rica. They want you to come here and learn about their culture. I did ask at one point to Marvin, what do Ticos, which is the Costa Rican people, what they call themselves, what do Ticos think about American expatriates? Because I thought that was interesting, what the view of somebody like that was. And they said they love them because they come down and they create jobs. You know, they might open up a little bar or a scuba tourism thing or whatever, right? And so that's jobs that are created by the Americans coming down. So or even if they just build a house, that's construction jobs. It's just they're very interested in creating jobs. A lot of them are centered around tourism, but there's just general stuff overall. And so salaries here are pretty, I wouldn't say depressed, but they're certainly lower. Things here are more expensive. Like I was looking at some of their Toyota trucks here, and they have a Hilux that seems a lot like a Tacoma, and those things are like mid 40s to start, versus in the US you can get a new Tacoma, a bare bones one for upper 20s probably. So everything costs more here. Gas is about $6 a gallon. So, and he was telling me about salaries. Most people have a salary of about $600. That's like your entry level salary, $600 a month. And then then I asked about doctors and lawyers, what's your high end of that, right? He said a doctor working at a government hospital with maybe 10 years experience might be 10 grand a month. So that's pretty good, right? Even in American standards. And he goes, but if you are like a doctor with a private clinic or other doctors working for you, then you can make millions or whatever. But that's a pretty limited case. I would not expect more than a handful of people like that to exist here in Costa Rica. So it's different. So I guess having said that, be mindful if you come down here to make sure you tip people, because this is their livelihood, right? So the education system, because they've not paid for a military in some time, 70 years I think he said was the last time they had an army. They've put that money towards the education system, so education's free for everybody from kindergarten through college. So I think at certain points they have to test to make sure they have the aptitude to go on, just making sure you're not putting bad money into good, I guess, or good money into bad, whichever. But pretty impressive system. So everybody here is super happy. Incomes are kind of low, admittedly. Tourism's, I think, their main deal, and they've really embraced foreigners in the United States, people coming to their country to explore and to soak in the culture. And I think that's a pretty cool thing, because you don't always get that when you travel around, especially as an American. Sometimes, there's a little ill will there because of our military, maybe, or whatever, foreign policy, whatever you want to call it. So it was a good trip though, overall. Learned a lot, which is what I hoped for. I hope my boys learned something, got to see how outside the bubble works in humanity. So yeah, until next time.